I've been lost by the side of the road I get on.
This is the weekly forecast for the week of 28th of November 2016. It includes both your general as well as your love reading. The first card that comes up for the theme of the week, in other words, the overarching energy of the week, is that of altruism. And this is about this week doing things without expecting anything in return. And it's a strong theme right throughout your reading. You'll see it kind of comes up in your love reading as well. This card cautions about balance, though. Remember, you've got to take care of yourself at the same time, so don't give so much that you don't have enough time or energy for yourself. But it is important this week to be giving of yourself to others, to projects, to people, whatever it may be. I think it's in the energy of giving that healing will take place this week. Then your growth potential this week. In other words, what will come up that gives you the opportunity to evolve and grow. That first card, the world, says you have reached the conclusion of something, the completion of something. You've successfully worked through something. So now you're going to be moving on to a new level of evolution. That two of wands says don't be discouraged if you do come up against delays or things that people say might discourage you. Push forward because you can succeed at what you are doing. Then that third judgment card says, once again, you have reached the end of a cycle. And it's possibly a crossroads that you maybe now come to. And that you're going to need to make a choice or a decision. And the judgment card says, make a wise decision. And that's going to be entirely up to you, what you know is a wise decision. In your heart, you're going to know what that is. And then the opportunities for luck this week. So that where can you find that potential for good luck, for the good stuff, for joy and happiness to come into your life? That renewal of peace card speaks about that you will be given time this week to yourself as well. And to make use of that, to just be with yourself, be quiet, don't be busy, don't be with people. You'll get those opportunities, make use of those opportunities, because as this card says, you then feel a renewed sense of peace when you are doing that. The second card once again speaks of being in service. So being in service is definitely where your luck is going to be coming in this week. It's going to be an energy shift for you. So it'll restore balance in your life. So maybe we've been taking a bit too much in our lives lately, even though for a lot of us it feels like things are being demanded so much of us. But it's in giving freely without wanting anything in return that there will be restoration of balance this week. Then the vulnerability card says that you will also be given the opportunity to withdraw. So this week is definitely going to be time out. And this card especially says that it's much needed this week. Relax, rest, recuperate. Take some much needed downtime, it says. So when those opportunities present themselves, make sure you make good use of it. And in love and relating, that first card that comes up speaks of this week, love unconditionally. So once again, that theme is coming through. This week, try not to expect things in return. Try not to be too judgmental. Try not to see the things in your relationship that bug you and harass you all the time. Try to love the person just because they are another soul and they're in your presence. And then that next card, the Star Fairy, says that remember you are connected to everybody and everything. And this does away with that feeling of separateness. And often when we feel separated from people, especially the ones that we love, is when we start saying and doing things that are not necessarily in our best interests or anyone else's either. Then the very soon card comes up, and I think this is very much for those of you who are still waiting for relationships. Now, it's quite interesting the message that came through with this, because it came through very clearly that even though we say we want someone in our life, we want them to share our life, this, that, the other, it's pretty vague for starters. And secondly, in the depth of our hearts, we're thinking something else. We're thinking, I want a lifelong partner who's wealthy and who is well respected, but we're asking for something different. And it's because there's two separate stories going on here that we've got this very iffy energy, is a good way of putting it, and we're not getting what we want. So this card specifically says you need to be very honest with yourself. What is it that you genuinely, honestly want? Because once you actually are truthful with yourself, when you're honest with yourself and you know what it is, then the universe is going to deliver it for you because you're giving one clear instruction. This is what I would like to have. Then in life in general, the first card that comes up says that there's an element this week of old wounds surfacing, and this makes us behave in certain ways. We're going to come up perhaps against a challenging figure, someone who has authority over us in some way, and it's going to make us react in a certain way because of an old issue with an authority figure. But just stop first and think about it, because you're reacting, you're not thinking and responding first. So that second card speaks about renewal, and it says have a look at those patterns of behavior, have a look at those ideas, that conditioning you have, and maybe it needs renewal, updating. I always say, everything needs renewal and updating, especially nowadays. The person you were 10 years ago is totally different to the person you are now, yet you may be clinging to the same ideas, thought patterns, and behaviors that you had 10 years ago, even though they're not relevant in your life any longer. So there's the opportunity to have a look at that this month. You will come up against that, and it will make you think about it if, obviously, one is conscious. Secondly, that you're listening to guidance that's coming through. Now, the Strength card says, overcoming your worst fears and recognizing your greatest strength. This was an aha moment for me, this card, when I looked at it. Because it's very true that instead of reacting to circumstances based on our fears, try to respond to circumstances or challenge based on your strengths. So instead of when someone challenges you, you're scared they're going to squash what you want to do. You're scared they're going to get you into a situation you don't want to be in. You're scared. That's how you react. That's where you're reacting from. Instead of thinking, you know what, I'm very good at negotiating. I'm very good at getting people together and responding from that standpoint, from that viewpoint. I hope you get what I'm describing here, because it really was an aha moment for me. And then your guidance cards, the first one that comes up speaks about timing being everything. So you're going to need to take an action this month. But that crane card speaks about there's a perfect timing for it, and you're going to know when it is. So if you're in doubt, wait, because you will then get that moment where you think, this is it. Now I'm going to make that move. And that's when it will be at its most effective. And then that final guidance card speaks about banishing loneliness by reaching out to your special friends. So if you do feel separate this month, if you do feel isolated, if you don't feel connected, reach out to the people you know are your friends, your loved ones. And you'll start feeling that connectedness again. It will shift your energy field, and life will shift and move on. Right, if you would like a personal reading so we can have a look at how this plays out in your life exactly, or as I put up at the beginning of the video, you'd like to take a look at 2017 and see what all is in store for you there, you can contact me at theoracletimes@gmail.com or book a reading via the website. Both URLs are showing up now in the owl picture. And I do hope you enjoyed this reading. Thank you very much for watching and listening.
Many times before, and you want to take this away from me, it's half a mind to see, and half is gone.